Hey everybody, today we're going to be taking a look at the AVA EP7 Plus tattoo machine. This machine was sent to me by Element Tattoo Supply, so a big shout out to Element. Thank you very much for sending out the machine for a review. If you are interested in buying this machine at the end of the review, I will leave a discount code in the video description so you can save some cash. And as always, even though I was sent this machine, I am going to be giving my honest opinion, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so let's get right into it. Starting off with price, the EP7 Plus 4.2 millimeter stroke edition is $400. I did see on their website that they have a 3.5 millimeter stroke version, and that is $380. So if you do like a shorter stroke, you can save like 20 bucks by buying the shorter stroke version of the machine. For me, I prefer a harder hitting stroke, so I have the 4.2 millimeter, and that's the one I'm going to be reviewing today. My first impressions were, when I first opened up the box, that I was impressed with the build quality. The grip has some nice weight to it, and the ratchet system is a heavy duty one, so you don't have to worry about the ratchet system slipping while you're tattooing and it changing the needle depth on you in the middle of your tattoo. So everything that you get in the box is the machine, 2 batteries, an RCA connector adapter that lets you plug the machine into a power supply if your batteries are dead, a charging cable for the batteries, a 1 1/4 aluminum grip along with the machine's 1 1/2 aluminum grip, a machine holder so it doesn't roll away on you, a silicone pad, and lastly an RCA plug that attaches to the batteries so you can use them on any other machine that you have with an RCA connection. I think all companies that are making these pen machines with dedicated batteries should be doing this and sending along these adapters so these batteries can be used on other machines. It really only makes sense. The batteries on the EP7 Plus are touchscreen. You do a long press to turn them on, and first you will see the battery percentage pop up, and then you will see the voltage pop up. You're able to change the voltage up and down with the up and down arrows, a short press to turn the machine on, a short press to turn the machine off, and then a long press to turn the machine completely off. You also can long press the arrows up and down to speed through the voltages faster, so you don't have to be doing them by decimal points. Moving on to some specs, the machine is made out of aluminum, and like I said earlier, this one has a 4.2 millimeter stroke, which makes it a hard-hitting machine. The EP7 Plus is a direct drive machine, so then that way there is no give. The batteries will charge with a USB Type-C and have a charging time of 3 hours. On their website, they claim that each battery will last you 5 to 8 hours of tattooing. In my experience, it was closer to 10 hours before one of the batteries died, but this all does depend on how fast you're running machine and how you tattoo. The EP7 Plus weighs 7.4 ounces, it's 5 inches long, and 1.6 inches in diameter. So moving on to noise and vibration, this is what the EP7 Plus sounds like at 6.5 volts. As you can tell, it's a very quiet machine, and it also has very low vibration, so it is very pleasant to tattoo with. Next, is it better wireless or with an RCA connection? If you know me at all, I love wireless tattooing. I love the freedom that it gives me. I'm able to move around and dance during my tattoo sessions, which is just great. So I always go wireless with the EP7 Plus, but if your battery does die, you are able to switch over to RCA, and it does not change the balance of the machine at all. It still is a really nice and small, compact machine for you to be able to tattoo with. So it really is up to you with preference, whether you want the battery or RCA. It doesn't really change its performance at all. Now, I do wish that the battery was not a touchscreen. I will fight with this sometimes, turn it on, turn it off, and change the voltage. I wish, just like the critical batteries, they were actually buttons that you can click, because it's not like you're ever guessing whether you clicked it or not. It's, if it does that, you clicked it. But with this, sometimes you'll press it a bunch of times and you have to kind of fight with it, and maybe your finger was a little cold or something like that, and you have to really like push down on these buttons. But overall, it wasn't like a malfunction, it was just I don't think that they're sensitive enough. But overall, I would just rather tactile buttons. Now, when holding on to the EP7 Plus, I really like where all the weight sits in your hand. It's not back here and causing any type of wrist strain at all. All the weight is really up front with the grip. So it's nice when you're tattooing because it also assists you in putting the ink in the skin faster and more efficiently. Moving on to bagability, the EP7 Plus is as simple as it gets when it comes to bagging up your machine. All I do is throw the whole machine down a clip cord cover, I stretch the cover over the whole tip of the grip, and then I wrap the grip in grip tape. Then I'll either tape or rubber band the top shut to make the entire machine covered. I'll pop a hole in the plastic where the cartridge will go, and you're ready to go. Next up, ease of cleaning. Just like bagging up this machine, Cleaning this machine is very straightforward. You're able to autoclave the grips, and then you're able to wipe down the body of the machine with medical disinfectant. Now, one thing I do wish that they had for this machine was disposable grips, but unfortunately they do not. And just like every pen machine basically on the market, you do have to be careful when you're tattooing to not cross-contaminate. You never want to be touching the stems of your cartridge because that comes in contact with the push rod. And when the machine is off, the push rod sucks back up into the machine, and it's really difficult to fully clean. So if you're always touching the stems of your cartridges while you're tattooing, you're cross-contaminating from client to client, and that is no bueno. So just be mindful of that. Make sure not to touch the stems of your cartridges. And finally, what everybody wants to know, is it good for lining? Is it good for shading? What styles is it best for? And should you buy this machine? Starting off with lining, the EP7 Plus, I was really happy with when it came to my experience with lining with it. I went everywhere from a 3-liner all the way to an 18-liner. And I really do think that it shines while lining with a 3 all the way to a 9. Once you get into those larger groupings like a 14 or an 18, it seems like you have to move a lot slower, obviously. So if you're doing a very large piece with large liners, I would recommend using a more powerful machine that has a little bit more of a punch, maybe like the Vlad Blad Avenger 2 Pro or the Bishop Wand liner. I did put out a video a couple weeks ago of me tattooing fake skin, and I used this machine. And fake skin is a lot harder than normal skin to tattoo, but the EP7 Plus did do a really good job. I was really satisfied with the way that it went into the fake skin. Even though it did take a lot longer to tattoo on the fake skin opposed to real skin, I was still definitely happy with the performance. You can go check that video out if you want, I'll link it above. Next up, is it good for shading? With the 4.2 millimeter stroke, I was able to achieve any type of color packing or shading technique that I tried. Stippling, whip shading, color packing, color blending, and smooth black and gray, all of them I think that this machine does really well with. I really like the way that the machine is balanced, so while you're shading and moving your hand pretty quickly, I like the way that the machine is able to move and you don't really have to fight with it. So yes, it is good for shading, it is good for color packing. Next up, what type of tattooing is it best for? I would say this machine is a great all-arounder machine. I didn't struggle to do any type of style at all with this machine. So if you're doing a lot of walk-ins or you're just somebody that does a lot of different styles all the time, I can't see you being disappointed with this if you want a pen style machine. But like I said, if you're doing something with super bold lines to where you're doing 14 liner or an 18 liner, you probably want something a lot more powerful just so you can move a lot quicker. But besides that, this machine didn't struggle with anything. Lastly, should you buy this machine? For the price and the performance that I got out of this machine, the $400 price tag is definitely a steal. For a wireless, hard-hitting pen that comes with 2 batteries and an adapter so you can use those batteries on other machines, I honestly don't think that you can go wrong with it. Now, I did only use this machine for about a month, so I can't speak for how long the motor will last for you. If I bought this for $400 over the last month, the amount of tattoos that I did with it, I definitely made my money back and more. All right, that's it for me today. If you have any questions or comments about this machine or want to see me review a specific machine in the future, feel free to leave that in the comment section down below. If not, I hope this video was helpful to you, and I hope that you have a good day. Bye.